Behind the powerhouse vocals and Grammy wins lies a list of artists who rubbed her the wrong way. From shady backstage encounters to deep industry betrayals, Mary's not afraid to call them out. Join us as we unveil the names that made her hate list. Number 9. Mary and Faith Evans. Mary J. Blige is an incredible talent with an impressive legacy. Although she generally avoids controversy, she has had some disagreements with a few fellow artists. Blige hasn't always agreed with fellow soulful singer Faith Evans. In the early days of her career, Evans joined Diddy's famous Bad Boy label and was often compared to Blige. In a 2017 interview, she was asked if Evans was a little bit of a takeoff of how she were moving. Blige responded gracefully, acknowledging that she felt it was true. When asked if it bothered her, she chose not to comment. During the time they were competing, Blige collaborated with rapper Lil Kim to create I Can Love You in 1997. As reported by This Is 50, a source in the industry claimed that the song was a diss track aimed at Evans, whom Blige held responsible for her strained relationship with Diddy at that time. In 2018, there were rumors of a fight between Blige and Evans at Diddy's party. However, in an interview with Page 6, Blige clarified that it was made up. And while the Faith Evans rumors faded, Mary's next fallout came with legal documents and a $5 million price tag. Mary and her friend built fashion moments and music magic together until betrayal entered the chat. Let's unravel what happened between the two friends. Number 8. Mary's lawsuit from her best friend. Mary J. Blige is facing a lawsuit from her longtime friend and stylist, Misa Hilton, who claims that Mary has sabotaged Vado's career and pressured him to withdraw from a management agreement. According to an explosive report by All Hip Hop, Hilton is accusing Mary and her company, Beautiful Life Productions, of meddling in a signed management contract between Vado and her own company, MISA. The legal documents state that Hilton and Vado finalized their agreement in July 2023, which supposedly entitled her company to 20% of the Harlem rapper's earnings. Later, in October of the same year, he entered into a distribution deal for his music with Mary's Beautiful Life Productions. By July 2024, he had reportedly completed his album, but Hilton claims that Mary threatened to shelve it and hinder his touring opportunities unless he terminated his management contract. She also asserts that Mary lured him into breaking the deal by inviting him to private yachts, exclusive events, and more, with the main motive being that Mary's security chief, who was also mentioned as her boyfriend in the lawsuit, wanted to take over Vado's management himself. Hilton claims she has proof in the form of private messages from Mary to Vado and argues that the singer's actions have left Vado in a state of economic servitude, making it impossible for him to earn money or pay back advances related to his recording contract. She was seeking $5 million in damages for breach of contract, emotional distress, and interference with business relationships, along with an injunction to stop any further disruption from Blige or her company. Mary J. Blige was also indirectly involved in a lawsuit last year, although it revolved around her 1992 hit Real Love. Tough City Records filed a complaint last April, accusing UMG's publishing division of copyright infringement for allegedly using an unlicensed sample from the 1973 funk song Impeach the President by the Honey Drippers in the MJB track. The song, known for its iconic drum break, has been sampled hundreds of times by numerous hip-hop artists, including Tupac, Biggie, and others. Recently, Doja Cat sampled it in her song Can't Wait from her 2023 album Scarlet. In the lawsuit, Tough City's lawyers claim they have repeatedly informed the defendant about the uncleared sample on Real Love, but have received no response. Mary J. Blige is not mentioned in the lawsuit nor accused of any wrongdoing. The lawsuit also clarifies that UMG Recordings, which owns the rights to Real Love, has already made an agreement regarding the sample. However, they state that UMG's publishing division has declined to do the same. As Billboard pointed out, it's puzzling why the company waited over 30 years to file a lawsuit about it, especially since they have previously sued over that same sample, even before Real Love was released. Back in 1991, they took legal action against Sony Music and Def Jam, accusing Marley Marl of illegally sampling the track in LL Cool J's songs Around the Way Girl, and 6 Minutes of Pleasure. Mary J. Blige, the Grammy-winning artist and actress, is getting ready to respond to the $5 million lawsuit from her former friend and stylist Misa Hilton, who claims that Blige deliberately undermined her management contract with rapper Vado. The court had established the date by which Blige must respond. Although both sides have come to an agreement on procedural issues, Blige's legal team has not given up any defenses. Hilton's lawyer, Nicholas Ramcharatar, in an interview, said that both women were like sisters, not just by Misa tried her best to keep the situation under wraps through calls, texts, and even letters sent to Mary's legal team. But after months of no communication and unmet obligations, they had no option but to take legal action. The lawsuit wasn't their first choice, it was their last resort. Hilton played a key role in connecting fashion with hip-hop during the 90s, dressing R&B artists in hip-hop streetwear. She began this journey at the age of 17. Hilton styled Mary J. Blige on multiple occasions and proudly talked about their friendship during an interview. She explained that they make a fantastic team, and she got to know how her friend thinks. They both hail from Westchester County. Hilton is from Mount Vernon, New York, and Blige from Yonkers, New York, and anyone from Westchester knows we have their own unique swagger and style. They share a love for hip-hop music, fur, boots, and everything that embodies Black fashion and hip-hop culture. So it was a perfect match. The lawsuit caused a rift in a friendship that has lasted for decades between the two women. Number 7. Mary called out by fans for Burger King advert. R&B legend Mary J. Blige faced a wave of backlash for her involvement in a Burger King advertisement that she described as having gone terribly wrong. Other than a typical statement from her PR team, Blige had remained silent until when she spoke with Angie Martinez about the widely mocked commercial, which many deemed offensive to African Americans due to its implied promotion of the stereotype that Black people love chicken. The Grammy Award winner acknowledged that the ad was a mistake, but she felt she was misrepresented in the version that surfaced online. Blige insisted she approached the opportunity with good intentions, but things didn't turn out as expected. She explained that she thought it would be a fantastic branding opportunity. That was what she believed it to be. She went online to check out the remix she did with Fat Joe, looking for the song Another Round, and all she could find was Burger King and chicken and the ridiculousness. It just broke her heart. People were going wild, and she got the laughter and the jokes that were happening. That's totally fine. They're supposed to react like that when something like this occurs. It boosted traffic to people's websites and increased ratings for radio stations. But what really hurt her was when people started saying cruel, negative things that weren't true. When Martinez asked why she didn't speak out when the public outrage was at its highest, Blige replied that everyone was doing their thing and saying what they wanted, and she felt there was no need for her to jump in. Everyone was running with it, crucifying her and going wild. She thought it was too chaotic for her to stick her head out and say anything, so she just stepped back and observed everything and everyone. Although her management team did provide a response right after the controversy began, Blige mentioned that she chose to remain quiet and watch. Blige stated that what it did was reveal everyone and everything in her life, showing her who her true friends were. Even though a lot of people reached out to her saying they understood what she was trying to do, they saw how it all went wrong. To those individuals and the many who were upset by the advertisement, the talented artist offered an apology. Blige confessed that in the end it was a mistake because people see it as a mistake, but she intended it to be something different. She wanted to say sorry to everyone who was hurt and thought she would do something so disrespectful to their culture. She would never do that. She genuinely believed she was doing the right thing. Regarding the rumors that she received over $2 million for the advertisement, Blige rejected those allegations, saying that it wasn't about the money, it was about a chance to build her brand. And just when the smoke started to clear, Mary found herself caught in another storm, this time with a legendary voice who didn't mince words. Number 6. Mary and Chaka Khan. The iconic Chaka Khan, often referred to as the Queen of Funk, has once again delivered a sharp critique of a prominent figure. In a recent interview with Rolling Stone magazine, Khan didn't hold back as she expressed her thoughts on the singer, reigniting their long-standing feud. 2023 was significant for Khan, as it marked her 50 years in the music industry. She also celebrated her 70th birthday later this year. Despite the many reasons to celebrate, the vocalist still had some strong opinions about Blige. Earlier same year, the I'm Every Woman's Singer earned a place on Rolling Stone's 200 Greatest Singers of All Time list. She was among legends and ranked relatively high at number 29. David Bowie was just 3 spots behind her, while Paul McCartney was only 3 spots ahead of Khan. The magazine's list stirred up controversy, as many believed that some legends, who were arguably far more talented than Khan, were ranked much lower. The legendary Diana Ross was placed at 87 and Tina Turner at 55. Additionally, the list sparked outrage when fans noticed that Canadian singer Celine Dion had been somewhat overlooked. In a recent episode of the award-winning podcast The Originals, Khan, in what some might call an ungrateful manner, shared that the list held no significance for her. In fact, the legendary singer admitted she wasn't even aware of the list's existence until the podcast host, Andrew Goldman, congratulated her on her inclusion. After learning about the list, Khan remarked that she didn't even know what they were talking about, so obviously it didn't mean a great deal to her. She also mentioned that they don't quantify or validate her in any way. The singer was curious about who else was in the top 200, and when she found out that Mary J. Blige was 4 spots ahead of her, she was definitely not happy. Taking a shot at Rolling Stone and indirectly criticizing Blige, Khan shouted that they were blind as a bat. They need hearing aids, and they must be the children of Helen Keller. In 1992, Blige covered a song that Chaka Khan had originally performed for her debut album. The song Sweet Thing was a 1975 track by Rufus, and Khan was not impressed when she heard Blige's version. Years later, when Khan sang the original classic, she referred to it as the song Mary J. Blige Messed Up. It's safe to say that the two have had a tumultuous relationship. Even though Blige has never replied to Khan, the Through the Fire singer had always been open about her feelings towards Blige. Number 5. Mary's racism experience. Mary J. Blige has been a superstar for over 30 years, and she's set to be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. However, the music icon hasn't always received respect just by walking into a room. Blige and her stylist Misa Hilton share a shocking story from a boutique shopping trip in the early 90s when they were both just starting their careers. Hilton mentioned that Mary J. Blige was the first artist she ever styled. When they met, they instantly clicked. They understood each other. They shared a love for the same fashion, hip-hop, and style. Back in the early 90s, they were making money, allowing them to shop for more expensive and luxurious items. Blige added that they have been in many stores. They've shopped a lot because they didn't have much before. Once they could buy what they wanted, they were maxing out their credit card. Sadly, for the then-emerging queen of hip-hop R&B and her stylist, having money didn't always guarantee access to luxury items. They went to a boutique to shop, Hilton continued, and when it was time to pay, the sales associate kept saying that the card was declining. They kept trying to process it. They called the credit card company. The card wasn't declining. It wasn't even being processed. It was like the attendant didn't want them to buy those items. She felt it was because they were young and black, and they couldn't understand how they were spending so much money. They didn't even recognize who Mary J. Blige was at that time, showing how luxury fashion brands didn't value or respect them. Blige, who had gone on to sell millions of records and win many Grammys, describes the incident clearly. She stated that they were being rejected, adding that they were treated like they were just little street kids. They probably didn't want to do business with them. But it wasn't just strangers in a store questioning her integrity. Soon, concert promoters were doing the same and taking her to court for it. Let's find out more. Number 4. Mary sued for canceling a concert. Vision Entertainment. Worldwide VEW has initiated a lawsuit for breach of contract against the No More Drama singer and her production company after she backed out of a concert scheduled for December 2012. to perform with the Rolling Stones in Brooklyn, New York. The artist reportedly received a deposit of $145,000 to perform, but canceled just days before the event. After accepting an offer to perform with Mick Jagger and his band at the Barclays Center, VEW was asking for at least $145,000 in damages. A representative for Mary declined to provide any comments. Earlier, the singer faced a $3,400,000 tax bill after being accused of evading her U.S. federal taxes for 3 years straight, starting from 2009. Besides her federal tax issues, Blige was also said to owe over $900,000 in back taxes to the state of New Jersey. Her financial troubles didn't stop there, as she was sued earlier this year for allegedly failing to repay a $500,000 bank loan that she took out between 2005 and June 2012. Universal Music Group (UMG) AS is currently dealing with a new lawsuit in a federal court in New York regarding an allegedly unauthorized sample in Mary J. Blige's 1992 hit song Real Love. Tough City Records, based in New York, informed the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of New York on Thursday that Real Love incorporates a portion of the Honey Drippers' frequently sampled 1972 funk track, Impeach the President, which they did not obtain permission for. They were seeking an unspecified amount of monetary damages from Universal Music's publishing division. Representatives for UMG did not respond immediately to a request for comment. Hillel Parnas, the attorney for Tough City from Parnas Law Firm, also chose not to comment on the lawsuit. In the lawsuit, Tough City claims ownership of copyrights for tens of thousands of musical recordings and compositions across various genres including blues, rhythm and blues, jazz, funk, soul, hip-hop, New Orleans, and Latin music, much of which could otherwise be forgotten. The label has previously taken legal action over samples that were allegedly misused in songs by other well-known artists like the Beastie Boys, Jay-Z, Kanye West, and Frank Ocean. The lawsuits against the Beastie Boys and Jay-Z were eventually dismissed. Tough City and West label reached a settlement, and Tough City dropped its lawsuit against Ocean's label just 2 months after it was filed. Tough City informed the court that Universal Music Publishing has repeatedly refused to engage plaintiff in substantive negotiations regarding the sample, which they stated was difficult to reconcile with the fact that UMG Recordings, another division of UMG, had previously agreed to a separate license for the Real Love sample. Number 3. Keyshia Cole and Mary J. Blige feud. The feud between Keyshia Cole and Mary J. Blige has always been fueled by speculation. Ever since Keyshia entered the R&B world, the Oakland, California native has been compared to the queen of hip-hop soul, Mary J. Blige. Because of these comparisons, there have been rumors that Mary J. Blige isn't a fan of Keyshia Cole, even though Mary has supported younger R&B artists like Jasmine Sullivan in the past. Keyshia claims that Mary never reached out to her and ignored her attempts to connect with the R&B icon. Keyshia expressed that she believed Mary should have offered her some guidance in such a tough music industry, especially considering Mary's impressive track record of successful albums and hit songs that have kept her relevant for many years. This isn't the first time Mary has been rumored to snub other artists who are compared to her. Faith Evans even confirmed that Mary J. Blige stopped talking to her when people started comparing their styles and when Diddy began to mentor her professionally. Keyshia attempted to mend the negative relationship between her and Mary by proposing a musical collaboration, but rumors indicated that Mary turned down the offer. There were even claims that Mary's husband, Kendu Isaacs, went as far as to have Keyshia removed from the lineup of a Mary J. Blige tribute for BET. Despite the rumored tribute drama, Keyshia is still trying to reconcile with Mary in her recent interviews. It seemed that somehow Keyshia managed to get Mary to change her mind, because just the other day, Keyshia told a fan that Mary J. Blige had finally agreed to collaborate on a song with her. Just when the air was clearing with Keyshia, another superstar rubbed Mary the wrong way, and this time, it all started with a handshake. Let's find out who this artist is. Number 2. Mary and Christina Aguilera. When Mary J. Blige first met Christina Aguilera, another singer, she wasn't happy with the way Aguilera greeted her. In a vintage radio interview, Blige shared her thoughts on the encounter and explained why she felt put off by Aguilera's attitude, stating that she didn't like her because she had a nasty attitude. Mary was trying to greet her properly, and she stuck her hand out for Mary to kiss it. Mary said, "Oh, okay." She was headed down the wrong path already. She added that Britney Spears can't sing like her, but she will go further than her because she knows how to respect and treat her people. Blige went on to say that she was just nasty, also mentioning that she had heard from others that Aguilera wasn't very nice. The Mudbound star expressed that she would never want to collaborate with Aguilera in the future, emphasizing that the first impression is the last impression to her. In 2003, Aguilera performed alongside Spears, Madonna, and Missy Elliott at the MTV Video Music Awards, delivering a memorable mashup of Like a Virgin and Hollywood. When Aguilera stepped onto the stage and sang her opening line, the camera immediately focused on Blige, who seemed to be watching Aguilera with a look of disapproval. Mary J. Blige wasn't the only celebrity who has had a negative experience with Christina Aguilera. She wasn't the only artist who left Christina Aguilera with a bad first impression. In a televised interview at the Brits After Show party in 2011, Canadian singer Avril Lavigne unexpectedly shared that Aguilera wasn't very nice when she greeted her. After telling the audience that Culture Club's Boy George was super nice, when Lavigne approached him that evening, the "I'm with you" singer said it was the exact opposite when she ran into Aguilera. Unlike Christina Aguilera, who was really mean to her when she said hi to her, Lavigne exclaimed, adding that she told her friend she was going to go over to Boy George and hopefully he won't pull a Christina on her. Number 1. Mary J. Blige and Diddy. R&B legend Mary J. Blige has caused a stir with a mysterious Instagram post directed at her longtime friend and collaborator Diddy. This post follows federal raids on 2 of Diddy's properties and a wave of serious allegations against the rap mogul, including claims of physical and abuse. Even though they have been friends and partners for nearly 30 years, it seems Mary J. Blige started to distance herself from Diddy, indicating a major change in their relationship dynamics. In a daring move, Mary J. Blige went on Instagram to express her new boundaries and her readiness to cut ties with those who disrespect them. Speaking to her 6.8 million followers, the Grammy-winning artist stated that unfortunately, a lot of people met her when she lacked boundaries and was a people pleaser. This remark hints at a personal growth for Mary J. Blige, showing that she is moving away from her past tendency to please others and is now taking a more assertive and self-respecting approach. She reinforced her determination by saying that she burns bridges as needed, which shows she is prepared to end relationships that do not benefit her anymore. Mary J. Blige's Instagram post received mixed feedback from her fans. Some praised her for focusing on self-respect and setting boundaries, while others criticized her for possibly throwing Diddy under the bus. Supporters of Mary J. Blige applauded her for standing up against toxic relationships, with one fan saying people who don't respect boundaries shouldn't be a part of her life. However, some dissenters questioned the timing of her comments, suggesting hypocrisy from those who had stayed silent despite knowing about the allegations against Diddy.